Kindness is often misunderstood. In a world that glorifies speed, dominance, and noise, kindness is frequently labeled as softness, as if being a good human somehow makes you naive, weak, or unprepared for the real world. That's not just wrong, it's backward. Real kindness, the kind that costs you something, the kind that shows up when it's inconvenient, takes more strength than flexing your ego ever will. See, anybody can be loud. Anyone can puff their chest out, talk down to others, bark orders, or act like they've figured it all out. That doesn't take skill. That's insecurity dressed up as confidence. But you want to know what actually takes guts. Listening when you want to talk, giving someone else credit when you could easily take it for yourself, letting someone cut in front of you when you're in a rush, checking in on your team when your calendar is stacked. That's kindness, that's real strength. Kindness is restraint. It's being aware of your power and choosing not to abuse it. It's knowing you can crush someone in a debate, but you don't need to. It's realizing someone's being short with you and not taking it personally, because you know they're probably fighting a battle you can't see. That's emotional intelligence. That's strength under control. People think you have to be cutthroat to succeed, but the truth is, kindness scales better than arrogance ever will. Being kind builds long-term trust. It creates allies. It earns you a reputation that money can't buy. When people know you're fair, honest, and thoughtful, they want to work with you. They want to support you. They'll remember how you treated them, especially when you had nothing to gain, and that matters more than you know. But here's the twist: kindness doesn't mean being a pushover. It doesn't mean saying yes to everything. It doesn't mean avoiding conflict or sugarcoating the truth. Real kindness is telling people what they need to hear, not what they want to hear, but doing it with respect. It's holding people accountable while making sure they know you care. It's setting boundaries and still being generous. There's power in saying no with empathy. Kindness is a choice, not a default. It's something you have to work on, especially when you're tired, frustrated, or not getting the recognition you deserve. When everything in you wants to snap, clap back, or go cold, that's when kindness is the most powerful. Because it means you're not letting the outside world dictate your character. It means you're in control. And let's be honest, in business, in life, in relationships, your kindness is your brand. People may not remember what you said or what you did, but they'll remember how you made them feel. That's legacy, that's equity, and it pays dividends forever. So no, kindness isn't softness, it's not weakness, it's not the easy route, it's the real work, it's the slow burn, it's what separates the ones who are just here for the win from the ones who are here to lead, to impact, and to last. You want to win long term. You want to build something that doesn't collapse the second you're not in the room. Be kind, always, especially when it's hard, especially when no one's watching. That's where the power is. That's where the character is built. That's how you play the long game and win. People over everything. That's the mindset. That's the real game. You want to win in life, in business, in any room you walk into. You've got to care about people more than you care about the short-term outcome. Relationships over transactions always, but don't get it twisted. Just because you lead with heart doesn't mean you get to slack. In fact, it's the opposite. You've got to outwork everyone. You've got to grind like a beast if you want those relationships to actually mean something. There's this false narrative that you've got to choose. Either you're a good person or you're a savage in the game. No, you can and should be both. Be the person who checks in on people when they're struggling. Be the one who remembers birthdays, who notices when someone's energy is off. Be kind, be empathetic, but then, the second it's time to go. Flip the switch, grind so hard that people wonder how you have time for it all. Because that balance, that's what separates the people who actually win from the ones just faking it on social media. You want your team to trust you. You want your customers to keep coming back. You want to build something that outlasts every trend and algorithm. Then care about people deeply, but don't expect that care alone to build the thing. You still need to deliver. You still need to show up. You still need to do the work that most people won't touch. Kindness is your brand, but your work ethic is the engine. It's easy to smile and shake hands when things are going well. It's easy to send a kind message when you're feeling good. but what about when you're tired? What about when nobody's clapping? What about when you're doing 60-hour days and nothing's hitting yet? That's when it counts. That's when the people over everything mindset gets tested. Will you still lead with empathy when things aren't going your way? Will you still put people first when there's no applause? Because that's where legacy gets built. You don't grind because you're trying to prove something to the world. You grind because you care. You care about your team. You care about your clients. You care about your vision. And when you care that much, you show it through effort, real effort, not just showing up, but showing up with energy, with intention, with focus. That's love. That's leadership. Some people think being a workhorse means stepping on people to get ahead. That's not grinding, that's desperation. Real grinding is giving your all while bringing others up with you. It's staying late, not because you have to, but because you want to make sure nobody else gets left behind. It's doing the extra research so you can bring more value to your team. It's giving your time, your effort, your heart, and never keeping score. It's not about being perfect. You're going to mess up. You're going to have off days. You're going to let people down sometimes. That's life. But if you lead with people and show them you're willing to do the dirty work, they'll ride with you. They'll believe in you because they'll know you're real. They'll know it's not an act. You actually mean it, and that's rare. Every win in your life, every big moment, it will be connected to people. Every opportunity will come through a relationship. Every breakthrough, every deal, every growth spurt, it'll be tied to someone who trusted you, someone who respected your work ethic and your character. That combo, that's unstoppable. So yeah, put people first every time, but work like a savage, like you've got something to prove even when you don't, like you've got a chip on your shoulder, but not against anyone else, just against yesterday's version of you. Show up with kindness, leave it all on the table with effort. That's the game. That's how you win. People over everything, but grind like a beast. The world doesn't owe you anything, not a single thing. Not because you worked hard, not because you had a tough childhood, not because you've been nice to everyone, or because you deserve it. That mindset, that belief that something should be handed to you just because you've suffered, or because you're a good person, that's the anchor keeping most people from moving forward. The truth is brutal, life's not fair, and it never promised to be. But even when everything feels unfair, even when the world feels like it's taking more than it gives, the real flex is this: be kind anyway. It's easy to be kind when life's going your way, when you've got momentum, when the money's flowing, when the feedback is great, when everyone's clapping for you. But what about when it's not? What about when you're struggling, when you're putting in the work and not seeing the results? When you're watching people with half your effort get twice the spotlight, that's where your character shows up. That's where the difference is made. That's when kindness actually means something. Being kind in a cold world isn't weakness. It's rebellion, it's strength. It's you saying, I'm not going to let this world turn me into something I'm not. Because that's the real danger, not the pain, not the disappointment, but what it turns you into. When you start becoming bitter, jaded, selfish, that's when you start to lose. Not just opportunities, but who you are. And once you lose that, nothing else matters. You're not kind because you're expecting something back. You're kind because it's who you are. You're kind because the world needs more of it, even if it never claps for it, even if nobody notices, even if it gets misunderstood. That's what makes it powerful. Doing it anyway, most people only show love when there's something in it for them. They compliment when it benefits them. They support when it's convenient. But real kindness, it's when you go out of your way to make someone else's day better, even if yours is falling apart. It's when you show up for people, even when nobody's shown up for you. That's strength. That's courage. That's leadership. We all want validation. We all want to feel seen. But the moment you realize the world doesn't owe it to you, the moment you let go of that entitlement, you become free. Free to stop waiting, free to stop complaining, free to start building something that actually matters. Because now everything you give is from a place of choice, not need. You want to be happy. Stop keeping score. Stop holding on to resentment because someone didn't appreciate your effort. Stop thinking the universe is going to reward you just because you played nice. That's not how this works. Sometimes you'll be overlooked. Sometimes you'll be betrayed. Sometimes you'll pour into people who never pour back. But that doesn't mean you stop being who you are. That means you learn, you set boundaries, you grow stronger, and you keep going. Being kind doesn't mean you let people walk all over you. It doesn't mean you're soft. It means you have the self-respect to stay rooted in your values even when it's hard, especially when it's hard. Kindness with boundaries is unstoppable. It says, I'm going to treat you with decency, but I'm also going to protect my peace. That's power. That's how you maintain your energy. That's how you keep showing up in a world that doesn't always show up for you. At the end of the day, you get to choose how you move through this world. You can let the bitterness of others shape you. You can let the pain of the past control your present, or you can choose to lead with something better. Not because the world deserves it, but because you do. The world owes you nothing, so stop waiting for it to clap. Stop waiting for it to care. Do the work, give the love, build the thing, and most importantly, stay kind. Not for applause, not for credit, but because that's who you are, because no matter how cold the world gets, the only thing that really wins in the end is kindness. Grind silently, give loudly. That's the blueprint. That's the formula people don't want to follow because it doesn't come with instant validation. It doesn't come with claps, likes, or applause. It comes with long nights, quiet mornings, and a lot of self-discipline when nobody's watching. The grind, the real grind, isn't loud. It's not on display. It's not being broadcast for attention. It's personal, it's lonely, and it's necessary. People spend so much time trying to be seen working that they forget to actually work. They want the recognition before they've earned the result. They post every move, every step, every half-finished thing, hoping for some kind of acknowledgement that they're on their way. But the truth is, the journey that matters isn't supposed to be seen by everyone. It's supposed to mold you. It's supposed to humble you. And you can't do that if your focus is on applause instead of improvement. Grinding silently means you're not working to prove something, you're working to build something. You're not chasing hype, you're building depth. You're refining your craft, investing in your future self, stacking habits, showing up day after day with no camera, no praise, no reassurance. That's what makes it real. That's what separates the serious from the show-offs, because anyone can look busy, but not everyone can stay consistent when no one cares. The loudest people aren't always the ones making moves, they're often the ones trying to look like they are. Meanwhile, the real ones, they're in the shadows. They're working on their 100th draft, sending the 500th email, building the version nobody sees yet. They're not concerned with getting noticed today. They're planting seeds for a harvest that won't come for months or years, and when it does come, they won't be the ones bragging about it. They'll be the ones giving from it, because here's the other side of the equation. When you finally have something to offer, give loudly. Be generous, share your wins, not to flex, but to pour back in. Help others climb, help others heal, help others win. When you've been blessed with success, resources, knowledge, don't hoard it. Spread it. That's where the fulfillment is. It's not about showing people how great you are. It's about lifting others so they can be great too. Giving loudly means showing up when it matters. It means using your platform, your influence, your voice to add value, to contribute something real. Not noise, not fluff, value. It's using your experiences, especially the painful ones, to help someone else navigate theirs. It's showing love, sharing game, investing in people. That's legacy. But here's the thing. You can't give loudly if you've got nothing to give. That's why the grind comes first. You can't skip the silent season. You can't fake depth. You can't offer guidance from a place you've never been. You've got to earn it. And that's what the grind is, earning it in private, so you can give from a place of truth in public. Giving loudly isn't about ego, it's about impact. It's about showing up in a way that changes lives. It's not about shouting your worth, it's about pouring into others because you remember what it felt like to be empty. It's about turning your lessons into someone else's shortcut. It's about remembering that someone out there needs exactly what you've been through. There's something powerful about staying quiet while you build. It keeps you focused. It keeps your intentions clean. When you don't need the world to notice every step, you can move with more freedom. You can make mistakes, take risks, change directions without fear of judgment. You can work with purity, with patience, with purpose. And then, when the time is right, when the results are real, that's when you give, that's when you speak, that's when you help. That's when the world hears from you, not because you need to be seen, but because you've got something worth sharing, because you've put in the hours, you've done the work, you've stayed the course. Grind silently, no noise, no ego, no entitlement, just hunger, focus, and execution. Then give loudly, with heart, with gratitude, with everything you've got. That's how you win. That's how you lead. That's how you change the game. Kindness builds reputation, hustle builds results. One without the other, you're either all talk or all grind with no trust. It's not enough to just be nice, and it's not enough to just work hard. The real winners are the ones who combine both, the ones who lead with decency, empathy, and respect, and back it all up with relentless execution. Kindness is your calling card. It's the way people remember you. It's what keeps your name in rooms you've never stepped foot in. When you treat people right, not because they're useful, not because you need something, but because that's who you are, you build a legacy. People start associating you with trust, with safety, with fairness. That's brand, and brand is reputation. It's what gets people to pick up the phone when you call. It's what gets them to recommend you without hesitation. That doesn't come from manipulation. That comes from being real. But don't get it twisted. Being kind doesn't mean being soft. It doesn't mean letting people walk all over you or saying yes to everything. It means being clear, being firm, being honest while still treating people like human beings. You can fire someone with kindness. You can set boundaries with respect. You can deliver tough feedback with empathy. Kindness isn't the absence of strength, it's the controlled application of it. Still, reputation without results is just noise. If all you do is show up with a smile and good vibes but never deliver, you'll be liked, but you won't be respected. That's where hustle comes in. Hustle isn't just about being busy. It's not about working 18-hour days for no reason. It's about consistency. It's about staying locked in when it gets boring. It's about pushing through resistance, self-doubt, and fear and still doing the work. Results come from action, from repetition, from doing the hard stuff over and over again until it becomes second nature. Hustle is your edge. It's how you outperform people with more talent. It's how you catch up when you start late. It's how you keep winning when life punches you in the face, because it will. Hustle isn't glamorous. It's not for show. It's not about the grind posts or the late night selfies. It's about what you're willing to do when no one's clapping. When nobody sees you, when it's just you and your ambition at 2 a.m., still working because the mission matters. You can't skip that part. You can't outkind your lack of effort. You can't expect people to reward your good intentions if you don't follow through with good work. In business, in life, in relationships, people might remember how you made them feel, but they'll also remember if you got it done. Being nice is the door opener. Being relentless is what keeps you in the room. The truth is, a lot of people try to pick one. They either go full hustle, burn every bridge, ignore people's feelings, act like results are the only thing that matters, or they go full kindness, always saying yes, always being liked, but never making bold moves. That's not balance. That's playing it safe in one direction or the other. The real power comes from combining both. When people know you care and they know you deliver, that's when they trust you. That's when they follow you. That's when they invest in you, support you, and tell everyone they know about you. That's when you start building something bigger than yourself. You don't need to be ruthless to win, and you don't need to be a pushover to be liked. You need to be both fierce in your actions and gentle in your character. You need to chase results with urgency and lead with heart. That's what builds longevity. That's what scales. That's what feels good at night when the work is done and your name still means something. Kindness builds reputation, hustle builds results. One gets you remembered, the other gets you respected, but together, they make you unstoppable.